Okay, recording has started. Welcome everyone. Oh, I see we have another joiner. He's joined just as I started the recording. Hi there. That was great timing.
Hi. Hi, guys.
So for the session today, we are going to try out Heex Technologies. We had the CEO and a product manager from the company come and talk to us last session, and showed it working in practice. I assume what we're doing today is something similar because it's a sort of custom workspace where they've made the data available. So it probably just means that what they showed us is something we can play with ourselves. That's what I'm imagining, but I haven't tried it out yet, which you might think is silly given I don't know if you saw us trying out CubeEdge, but you need a full Kubernetes cluster to try out CubeEdge, which I didn't realize. So we tried one session, realized we didn't have what we needed, postponed it, and then the next session still didn't get much done. And the learning from that was we should probably check that we have all the information we need before trying to try out. But in this case, I've checked with the CEO. We've got the registration link. We should have everything we need. So that was a long intro. I think we've got a few regulars. I think Yasin has been before, but would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I've been listening in, to the group. I was like watching the recording for quite a while now. And I found out like you guys are discussing like the problem of logging and all of the data storage stuff. I'm so fascinated by it because I encountered a similar problem as well. Previously, a little bit about myself, I was like working in the self-driving space, both at Uber ATG and Aurora. And yeah, I'm getting back to robotics. It's good to see you guys in person.
Great, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I see you're at Model Prime, which is a good reminder. We should invite Aaron. Have we had Aaron speak here? He would also be. I think he would fit our current theme pretty well. Or I mean, or you can. I don't know how you want to do this, but
I'll ping around about this. Yeah, I'll ask him. But personally, I'm just like joining as myself, and yeah,
sounds good.
happy to be here.
Yep.
So that's sorry, I'm not familiar with Model Prime. Is that another logging and observability type? Oh, he is back. Is Model Prime about logging and observability, or is what does Model Prime do?
Sure. So basically, we're ingesting a lot of the robotics data, and then we modify. Well, we process the robotics data into tabular format, so you can use, let's say, all of the big query engines to analyze the data, and then you can build what we call taggers. Basically, you can write a custom Python logic, and then you can apply on top of those logs, and it will help you to identify rare events.
Great, that sounds very in line with what we're doing. I think Christian's
Yeah.
right. If yourself or Aaron, I think you were saying, would be willing to show us what you do and talk a bit more about it, we'd love to hear more.
All right. Thank you.
Maybe we can contact after the meeting and set that up if you're willing, of course.
Yeah, I'll ping him. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Back to the tryout. So the link I've got is, I'll put it in the, oh, that is a password. Gonna edit that out of the recording. Let me just get the link that I was trying to send before. Okay, here we go. So I am planning to, got a white screen. I'm going to screen share my screen while I do the sign up. Feel free to follow along on your own screen, or we can all work off mine. Whatever.
Just a quick question before we go. When I look at their pricing page, there doesn't seem to be a free account. But did the CEO tell us anything about? Oh, there is a free trial. Okay, never mind.
Okay, that's already further than I've got. So Let me start that screen share. It's always awkward with recording and screen shares, but I think this is the best way to do it. Let's pull this out, and then, oh, that's a Sudoku from earlier, because when your boards are flashing and you have nothing to do. There we go. Okay, as I said, feel free to follow along on your own, or you can follow with mine. You don't use a password manager, I recommend doing so. You know, I understand why there's verification codes and why websites want to text you security codes as well. Still find it so annoying. Here we go. 34412.
They should put a Sudoku there while you wait. It's in a lot of trading platforms, you know, like stock trading platforms, they have these mini games, Minesweepers and stuff like that for when nothing happens.
That's great. Yeah. I'll just plug some stuff in. It doesn't really matter. Middleware, ROS2. Kilted. Sure. I've never installed Kilted, but it's fine. And then bag formats. Now this is actually starting to get more interesting. So I assume we'll be using ROS2. The drop downs pushes all the controls out. I'm sure that's easily fixable. Point cloud data. Why not? Oh, what? My Hermes has the same profile as that for some reason. That's very odd. Okay. I use robotic data. So this is something interesting they spoke about in the call, actually. I think, I'm pretty sure that they said this, and I'm not just making it up, but they also separate out users. So the people generating the data from the people using the data. So I imagine this first window when you open your account is I'm the one generating it versus I'm the one using it. But that's something we said in the past, that it's useful to separate those out. So it does scenario-driven data capture, and it does it by deploying software agents. So that was something that was interesting from the discussion. I think the original vision behind Heex was that you would deploy an agent on your system that would watch it and have a rolling buffer and watch for events to appear. But what they found is that a lot of their customers had pre-existing bag data that they wanted to upload and process after the fact. So most of their customers are using the CLI to process bag data instead of using agents. And I was a bit surprised because I've always thought that a software agent would be the most useful way to use it. But I guess these companies have recorded data just in case there's something useful in there for so long that they've got plenty to go back on.
Yeah, I mean, the normal workflow, obviously, the ROS workflow is that you then play it back and watch it in Arvis, and that's where Foxglove had its origin, right? Where people, like, they wanted something better, like something web-based rather than Qt-based. That's interesting to hear that about Heex, because you would think that the agent, I also assume that their agent is the differentiating factor compared to, say, Foxglove. But I also don't know what other features they have. Maybe there's something specific about their analysis that makes it preferable over something like Arvis or Foxglove. Yeah, I agree. That's surprising. But it may just be a matter of, like, it may just be the way that people build trust with the product. It may just be that they want to try it out on recordings first before they decide that they also want to use it for monitoring live, because arguably the past has been a lot longer than the present, and therefore there's more data about the past than the present. So they may already have a lot of data that they can use for trying it out. Yeah, but I agree, it's interesting.
Yeah. Another thing they were talking about from the beginning of the presentation was that they want to store less data. They want to watch for specific things and only store those to cut down on costs and be more environmentally friendly and so on. I just thought I'd mention it. Okay, so what are systems, physical or virtual devices with software agents? What are triggers? So these are the signals. So you can watch on a topic for something to happen, and then record other topics, including that one, for example. So those are the triggers. And what are implementations? They are binaries from the SDK which transmit your signals to the Heex agent. Okay, let's continue. So first we can have a bit of a look around and see what data it has available, I guess. Oh, there's actually a tutorial. That's quite nice. All right, let's put your first system. Blank page. It's pointing at things on a blank page. Okay, something's gone wrong. Here we go. So actually, I've rushed past that. I think this is quite interesting as well, because we've in the past talked about separating sensors into what you're actually using them for. Although we had humanoid robotics as another thing. I don't know if this is the same purpose behind the separation. We were talking about, well, for humanoid robotics, maybe LiDAR's not as important, but it is for AMRs. And for drones, camera data is really important, and so is logging. But I was going to say IMU isn't. For the sake of example, IMU isn't. It varies by category, but I'm not sure that's what this is. Anyway, continue on with that. Generic information. This is going to be my Christian bot. So it doesn't go on the fritz. Hope you don't mind bad puns with your name, Christian.
Oh, trust me, I'm used to it.
Middleware, ROS2 labels, groups. We have none of those. Okay, so far, creating an AMR with a bad name and ROS2 is a middleware.
So this is interesting. Validate system. I wonder where this is going, because why would you have to enter that information? You're not creating a Ubuntu 24 instance. And so why validate? Validate usually assumes that you've already done something on the system, but you haven't downloaded any agent or anything like that, right?
No.
No. Okay. Well, maybe I'm reading too much into it. So let's just see what happens.
I assume it's tagging your data so that you could say, find me all the robots running this OS and find events for them. Now create your first system. Sorry, is this very small for you? I think it's actually clearer on the screen share than it is on my screen. So we want to create our first system. We've already done this. Give it a name. The OS. System. Now let's open our newly created system. Okay. Open up the sample mobile robot. The tutorial's gone. But here it's already got 5 data sources and 1 trigger.
That seems to be the sample mobile robot that you didn't create, right? That was there before?
Right. I assume Christian bot is empty.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can see there's data types for each of these fields. Got a navigation, position confidence. Yeah. And motion control. So one of the questions I had last time was what are the more common types of data that you want to log or that customers want to log? I think the answer though was it varied, but I also asked about the AI. They've got AI recommendations of what topics or what sources of information to use, and it seems like it varies by what you're using the robot for. So it's almost like an LLM where you plug in what type of robot it is, what it's attempting to do, and then it suggests topics that might be useful based on that, or sources of information. I should stop saying topics because that's a ROS concept. This is systems with data sources. But I thought it was interesting, an interesting use of LLMs, especially if it gives you something useful that you didn't think of before, and that is the purpose of it. Okay, so there's all of those data sources, and it's also got a trigger. So the trigger says high speed. I don't know if there's any more information about it. Let's view that. So if our velocity at any time is over 30 kilometers per hour, over a range of 4 seconds, I assume.
Yeah, the way I read that is whenever the velocity goes over 30 kilometers an hour, give me the last 2 seconds and the next 2 seconds, as long as this whole condition holds, right? And this goes back to the idea of a rolling buffer, which is why the -2 seconds makes sense. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. So if velocity is high, then record velocity, acceleration, orientation, -2 to +2 after the event. So Yasin asks, can we select ROS2 control or micro ROS? I don't think either of those are options. I guess they're just flavors of ROS2. So we would expect ROS2 data. Okay. So return to previous page, system details. So we've got our triggers and we've got our data sources. Slightly misaligned. So that's our systems pages. Now we can look at data sources as a whole. And I don't think you use one data source in multiple systems. I think you copy them. Which I suppose we can test by trying to add a battery data source. It does say used by the following systems. So, okay, so that's just wrong. One data source can be used by multiple things. So how can I add a data source to Christian bot? I'd like to add a data source, add existing, battery. There we go.
Any idea what that means?
Adding a data source.
Yeah. Okay, so you've added the battery, but what is that? Is that a ROS topic? Is that a specific file? Is that like, how do you, I mean, conceptually, I understand, of course, what it means, right? Battery charge %, current voltage makes all sense, but that's abstract. What's the concrete, I guess? Like, I guess for me, it will help once we get to the point where we actually install the agent on the system and see some data flowing in. I kind of want to connect the dots somehow.
Yeah. So I don't know how the battery charge percent is linked to a ROS topic, for example. But I imagine what happens is if I upload a bag file for Christian Bot, then it knows that it should look for battery data in these places and save it.
And do you think it will do some sort of AI magic there, trying to figure out what the battery value could be? Or do you have to specify in the schema that you're using what signifies the battery?
My guess is that you specify it when you set up the data source, but I think it's a good question that we can try and figure out for sure.
Yeah, maybe it's on the data sources somewhere.
So yeah, let's take a look at battery and see if we can work out how it figures out what all these things are. So really it's just saying that they're all numbers. It doesn't say how it reads that data out of a bag file. Let me know if I'm going too quickly.
No, this is good. Yeah, it might make more sense once we see how things are deployed on the system. Do they have some battery information already? Like, where do we see the actual data? Is it in analytics?
I believe so. There's no events whatsoever though.
Okay. I was hoping that some of those demo systems that they had already added to the account would have had some mock data or even real data from a sample robot.
That's what I had assumed because they did have examples, but there's a tutorial on the page. Maybe it'll. This was another question I had. Can you see the event frequency across time periods? The answer is yes. It appears in the main thing. And having it as a map is pretty cool as well. I didn't think of that. So yeah, if your events always happen in the same place, that's telling. And then there are filters, so we can take a look at the filters. Maybe let's zoom in on that a bit. So maybe there's no events in the date range selected.
Oh yeah, that could be. Maybe change the year to something really old. No.
I assume that they'd have had an event since 1980 if they were going to.
Well, this just tells me that it looks like there is no sample data in those sample systems.
Yeah.
We may have to upload a bag file or something like that.
Crash detected or high speed. Oh, so this is another trigger that I guess is available from the replay bot. Replay bot is the one that I would assume has data already attached.
Did the CEO demo any of this himself on the call?
So the CEO took us through some slides, and the product manager showed the demo. And in the demo, there was already events set up that we got to look at.
Gotcha.
Okay, so there's a high-speed trigger. Is this used by anything? Systems using it. Oh, I didn't see this before. You can go straight to the sample mobile robot. But yeah, it's got high speed as a trigger, but not crash detected. Oh, all right, I'm looking at the wrong one. Crash detected. What's using this? The AMR replay. Yeah. So I guess what it's doing is it's got one robot and it's got two systems. Maybe, I'm not sure if this is the case. One where it's watching live data, so it cares about going high speed, and one where it's replaying data, so it cares about crashes but not about high speed.
Could be.
Could
Yeah.
be. And then there's a smart data option to look at as well, but I was curious what these implementations are. So these are, I think it said they were built using the Heex SDK and they can run on the agent. So we have an implementation that monitors robot speed.
There's something you can download in the top right. I wonder whether that's where you... Oh, no, never mind.
Download coming soon.
Okay, I thought maybe you have to kind of download the implementation and deploy it on the robot or something like that.
I'm not seeing any code for this. I don't know if there's a URL and it compiles it from GitHub or something. Not really clear. Maybe there's a tutorial on. Nope. Let's monitor safety warnings. Okay. So it's tying implementations to an OS version.
I don't know what request implementation means. Is that a request to the developers, please implement a monitor for safety warnings, or who's the receiver of this request?
So it's got requested, but not ready.
All right. Well, I would vote that we go back to the systems and kind of figure out how to get some data in here, either by uploading something or, I mean, there it says to configure, which seems to say that we now need to take some action, which makes sense, right? You somehow need to get the agent onto the machine.
Yes. Sorry. It's
Agent is good.
here we go.
Oh, no. Okay. Um, Maybe something in the dot menu at the end.
The dot menu. I'm not seeing.
If you go out of this at the end of that Christian bot.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's just then delete. Never mind.
We do have to configure here. I didn't see that. Nothing. So they do have a CLI that you can use to upload bag files. So I wonder if the way that you play with this data is, or the way you play with the system is to upload bag data to a system you've just created.
I mean, according to the going in, not tutorial, but like the feature, like that carousel, you can do both, right? You can either upload a bag file or you can use a live agent. So I was assuming that here we were creating a live robot as opposed to just. But either is fine. It's just that if it's a bag file, you would imagine that they would make it easy for you to upload a bag file directly into this, because that's definitely easier than using an SDK.
Yeah.
But I might be wrong.
I think they want to do a web upload and it's coming.
Gotcha.
Quick Start Agent lets you test Heex with a fully automated workflow. Oh, this is interesting. I've never heard of multipass. Okay, so with my environment set up, I can use an API key. Okay, so this is interactive. You can actually make an event happen. I think we can probably get this going. Let me launch a virtual machine.
What kind of OS are you on?
So I'm on Windows.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So then you. Otherwise, if you want me to, I can also just fire up a Docker container and have my Christian machine run the Christian bot.
Would you get the UI if you do that?
Well, the way that I thought about it would be that my machine would be the demo robot for your account, which clearly can be a different system. So I was just going to use the whatever API key you would send me and follow the steps in this tutorial. And then I would imagine that my data would show up in your account, if that makes any sense.
Right, but without. I think it's in seamless mode. There we go. That's better. Right. So what I was trying to say before I got distracted trying to tab out of the VM was how you actually make the text-based speed plot. Yes, that works. So you could run it out of a Docker container. That works.
Oh, that's surprising. Now I'm confused. I thought the agent is just there for connecting to the system and uploading the data. I wouldn't imagine that you would want to see your data on the machine itself. So that I don't quite understand why you even need a text-based interface.
This is, or to my understanding, this is a way for you to play with it by running the agent and another utility that pretends to be velocity.
Ah, okay.
So the graphical interface lets you make your robot speed up.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a simulator almost.
Yeah. And I thought with graphical interface made the most sense, but you can do it without graphical interface. So yeah, you want to fire up.
Okay, let me fire up a ROS2 container for now.
Started.
Jimmy Bash. All right, I have my Jazzy container. And now I better pull up that documentation myself too.
Here we go. This is what I was hoping for. There'd be a way to generate and revoke them. So now I can send this to you just in the chat without worrying about it.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, and then the quick start agent, get your API key. I got that from you, thank you. Then I'm going to run the curl command. Let me know if you're interested in seeing what I'm doing here, but
I think it'd be interesting to watch, and I don't know if you need the robot UUID, so I've sent that as well.
Okay. Do you want me to steal the presentation from you then for a second?
Yes, please. Let's do it.
Okay. It's not very exciting. It's just a terminal, but hey. Okay, this is just copy and paste from there. Oh, curl not found. Sorry. not very exciting. Okay, now it should work. Okay, that has created auto get started. And then the next step that they had was this here. And then I'm going to paste the key that you sent me. Downloading demo scripts. All right, looks like something's running.
Agent installer retrieved.
Oh,
Oh,
well, that's the
nice.
first one, I suppose. That's a little bit, it's a little weird for an agent to keep producing output, because I'm attached to my container right now, and that's fine. But if I wasn't, the Docker log would look like a piece of and because it would keep adding, right? Like this is doing screen repaints, from what I understand. So this will not look nice in the logs. Little surprised, but maybe there's an option to suppress that. Okay, so now we have a system allegedly running. Can you check your dashboard whether you see any data coming in or some sort of change?
So I don't think it stores the data if there's no event. So I see no events and yeah, no data. So I assume
Okay,
once
well,
you break over 30,
what do I need to do for that?
press up on arrow key up.
Thank you. I need to read. Okay, there you go. Now we have some speed. Anything?
Nothing, no.
Okay, maybe there's some delay in updating it. I'm going to just go up and down in speed to trigger the condition every once in a while.
I think I've broken it.
Okay. Navigate to the smart data page. You should see your newly generated events.
So I have 3 events. High priority.
Oh, cool.
Did you break the speed limit
Can
3
you,
times?
Can you share your screen again?
Yeah. This one. Here we go. We've got some events that we can look at.
All right, cool.
Information. 2 recordings. Recording range 0 seconds to 0 seconds. So they said they had embedded Foxglove for actually viewing the data.
Maybe that play button, because they also say file name mcab.
Play
I'd
button?
be very. Could you the play button at the bottom in that mcab line there? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because Foxglove is no longer open source. So what is this? Is this a? Oh, yeah. I think this is a pre 2.0 version of Foxglove. At least the icon is still old. And yeah, I suppose it is. I'm not sure, but it could be.
I
Maybe I need
mean,
to, let me generate some more data. I didn't run it for very long.
You're using an unsupported browser. Maybe that's why.
Which browser are you using?
Firefox.
Oh, yeah, okay, maybe.
That's a new Google Chrome. Didn't want that. Right. Oh, come on.
It might still work, right? I think we haven't selected speed yet. Probably in the well, maybe if you look at the panels. I mean, it's if you can switch to Chrome, obviously that's good. But if you can't, we can try to explore it from here.
No, I can switch to Chrome. I'm just signing in now. Here we go. I'm so confused why Bitwarden thinks this is Hermes, not Heex. It's auto-completing it as a different website. That's fine. Okay. Let me switch to the new window. Here we go. So this is our new dashboard, by the way. Since creating a requested signal, we've got a new little bit of red there. A not needed signal. I'm not really sure what that is. That might be because we added battery to Christian bot and it's not hooked up to anything, maybe. And then one robot to configure. So that's interesting. Anyway, smart data. Yeah, we've got 4 events now. Let's dismiss that. And then play. Okay, so go to topics. I'm double clicking.
Yeah, I think the go to the panel thingy. Select the panel to edit the settings and click maybe the bottom right one. I think that's sort of a yeah, no, the panel, like the rectangle above that there. If you click on the, okay, good, and then raw message panel, click on the gear icon on the top right of that. Oh, I guess that's the same. I mean, I guess we just want a plot panel. Like the 3D panel doesn't make sense. Oh, there you go. Speed. Maybe pick speed. That one probably won't have anything, but if you select speed instead of acceleration, it should. Okay, nice. Okay. Why is it not plotting anything? Maybe just hit the play button at the bottom to see whether, no.
Oops.
It's also showing the message path in red. I don't know what that is supposed to mean. That doesn't look like a, I mean, Foxglove is very much ROS oriented. So their message paths, I think, look like ROS topics. So all these special characters look a little surprising to me.
Yeah.
Which might explain why they are shown in red, as in there's a problem. What happens when you hover over it? Does it say something? No.
There we go. Don't want Discord notification noises. Repeat that, please.
When you hover over these red message path things, red seems to say that it's somehow bad or wrong, but I guess it's not telling us what's the issue, right? No, it's not red anymore.
So what I just did was go in here, right click, copy the topic name, and then back over here, panel. Oh, click this, paste it in, but it's still not happy, but it auto completes it to this.
Gotcha.
So now it's white. So maybe it's happier, but
I still don't see any data.
still don't see. Oh, there we go.
Okay. What happened? Okay.
I clicked reset view and I think it set the scale properly.
That's probably it. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we can see it. Okay, so now I'm confused. Because going in, I thought that Heex was in some ways competing with Foxglove, but I guess they're after something very different because they are clearly using Foxglove for visualization. They don't have their own panels. So then they must really be focused more on the real, like the when to record, like the triggers and the events, right? I mean, obviously that's what they set to. It's just maybe I didn't pay enough attention to that. Okay.
I think that's right. Sorry if that came across. I just punched my mic. I'm noticing that it went from low to high, but it's not come down again. So it doesn't continue recording while the event's in progress.
It might be because I eventually lowered the speed below the threshold again. And maybe I did that very quickly. And so the event ended because the trigger, remember, it's like only 2 seconds past the oh no, but then it should be low, right? Because it also records 2 seconds after the event is over.
That's what I was thinking. So
I guess we looked at better. No, we looked at velocity.
This is the earliest event, which I seem to remember you had running for quite a while. Oh, and that's nice. It actually remembers the view I had open before.
Well, but this looks identical to the data that we just had pulled up before.
Yeah, it might be the same.
Mm.
Let's try. I think I was looking at this one though. We can have a look. It seems to get it up pretty quickly now. Oh no, that's different.
Different. Good.
So I missed the falling edge. I guess it's saying it's a rising edge. So when the velocity goes above, record 2 seconds either side. That's it. Job done. And there's no event for dropping below velocity, so it doesn't record anything.
Oh, I see. That's why it's exactly 4 seconds. Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just okay. Now I understand what you mean by rising edge. I think you're exactly right. So it doesn't keep recording while the condition is met. It only records the during the trigger itself.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if that's an option that you can add. One thing we can do is ask, and another thing we can do is try it. Sorry, it's a trigger. So let's say our high-speed trigger. Can we edit this to record the velocity? Oh, here we go. Specify recording range. Oh, they've got a cooldown period. That's nice. So if it goes up and down, you're not going to get repeated recordings. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's a... Maybe we can say...
I wonder how people use this. It would be great to hear from users of Heex. And I guess I don't know. I wasn't there last week. I don't know whether the PM talked about that, but I remember Benji was very Benji from Robot AI was he used a lot of examples of things that they had found in working with customers. Sometimes these are the most insightful things for us. So I'm wondering now with these what did you call it? Edge up? No, that's not what you said. Rising edge. Whether that is how people use it or whether they want to keep recording.
Yeah. So what have customers asked for? So if we had a real life event, I did see a message from Yasin. I'll take a look in a second. If we had a real life event, if we had a self-driving car and we're worried about it breaking the limit of driving around a town, so it drives above 30 kilometers per hour, do we want to know the 4 seconds around when it starts going above that trigger, or even the 10 seconds either side? Or would we rather record everything while it's going above the limit plus 4 seconds?
Yeah, my read was that while it is above the limit, it keeps recording, and then it will keep recording 2 seconds past the end of that. That must exist, but yeah.
But we saw, or rather, I can't see in the settings menu a way for that to be configured. So -2 to +2, as we saw, is just when the event happens, record 2 seconds afterwards. But hey, maybe we can put this in a post message and see what they say. Maybe there is a reason to do it. I see Yi has raised a hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can share some insight on the self-driving use case.
Oh, yeah.
Usually, people need a pre-roll, let's say 10 seconds or 4 seconds, around those event that event timestamp, right? The reason is that for, let's say, the vision software or the motion planning software to actually kick in, it need to burn some pre-roll data. So once you get a snippet, you want to re-simulate a scenario. That's the data that is required to bring the system up to speed to the point of the event. So usually there's a pre-roll needed.
The pre-roll I understand, but why don't you need to? Don't you sometimes also need to keep recording for, like, while the speed is high or something like that? I mean, especially in self-driving, right? Imagine there's a
So in the self-driving, at least from the company I have knowledge of, they're recording everything. So they're not taking any chances. And then they park their cars in the garage and upload everything through a big cable, and that they're retaining everything.
Yeah.
So I guess the important part is to recreate the conditions that get you to the high speed. And if you're trying to cut down your data to the smallest segment that's important, maybe you do only care about the few seconds either side of the event happening. So that could be the logic behind it.
Yep.
That does make some sense. I'm surprised it's not an option to record while the event is still happening, but maybe there's a reason, or maybe that's coming in the future. I can mention it and see if they do have a reason for doing that. By the way, the company is, they've asked a couple of times for any feedback that anyone has. I think they're always looking to improve. So if there's anything you can think of now or after the fact, shoot me a message and I can pass that along. Otherwise, I think we're coming to time, so it's probably a good time to stop looking at Heex Technologies. UI is polished, looks very nice. And you sending a message actually reminds me, Yasin sent a message. Sorry about that, Yasin. I didn't get to that in a second, like I said. I think there's a feature to change robot dimensions so that enables accurate speed. Sorry, I'm not following. Isn't the velocity independent of the robot dimensions? Okay, well, while Yasin's typing, thank you for joining. I think we don't have a plan for next time, but I think, Aaron, if you're... go on.
Yeah, well, I just noticed, Aaron joined, so I'm assuming he already told you that we were thinking that it might be good to hear from Model Prime. I don't know, but I'll leave it to you, Mike, to schedule it, whether next time we already want to switch to something else or whether you wanted to spend more time on Heex. But I think it's related, and it would be good to see it in context. So it would be nice.
Yeah, we actually, Shohei and I, we'd really like to show you something that we're working on in the open source realm, especially on the edge side, which feeds into the cloud side, and we'd love to get on the docket and talk to you guys about that. in the next few sessions, next 2 sessions, if we could do that. You said you don't have a plan for next time. Maybe we could be your plan for next time.
Brilliant. I was just about to say maybe Model Prime would like to come in and talk, and so let me update my statement to next session. We'll be hearing from Model Prime or about what they're doing in the open source space.
Yeah, the open source thing is actually it's Model Prime adjacent. It's more for everybody. Our big thing is that we just believe that we need a better tool chain to solve the problems for the next 10 to 20 years than really what we have in today's world. And we'd love to show you what we're thinking that would look like.
Great. Well, we're at risk of getting suddenly cut off because the window does that because it's the free version. So let me just say quickly, I'll talk to you and make sure the announcement falls in line with that. I don't want to say it's from Model Prime when it isn't or something. So
Sure.
I'll shoot you a message, and next time we'll hear more about that. Thanks everyone for joining, and hopefully see you then. Bye for now.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you guys in person.
Thank you for joining.